Hello again, everyone. I'm Steve Wilson with the Friday Night Locker Room and Space Coast Daily TV, coming to you live from the Urban Automotive Studio on the 520 Causeway, Merritt Island. Welcome to another edition of Sit Down with Steve. I'm honored today to be joined by the gentleman to my right who's, you're not going to believe this, he's only 21 years old. He's done more in his short lifetime than I can even begin to talk about. He's recently named as one of the top 30 most influential people in Lakeland, Florida. And we'd like to welcome Xavier Hendrix. Xavier, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, you've done so much, and we followed you. My broadcasting partner, Orville Susong, and I cover high school sports, so we know you and know of you from your high school football playing days.
Yes,
but you've done so much since then. But let's start back in the future, so to speak. Are you originally from Brevard County?
So I was born in Jacksonville, Florida, actually, and I moved to Palm Bay when I was about 9 years old. Mm-hmm. So I've been here for the majority of my life. So I guess you could say I grew up in Brevard County. Right.
So, and I know you got involved in youth sports at an early age.
I did. So I started playing football actually back in Jacksonville at the age of 6. Mm-hmm. So basketball was football was my whole life, throughout my entire life. I went from there, I went to Pop Warner, I've played for youth Bayside, and I progressed and I played for Bayside High School. So. Mm-hmm.
How was it? Do you have fond memories when you go back to your Bayside Bears?
Oh, yeah. I miss it every day. Every time I watch a football game, I'm like, I just wish I'd be out there again. One last time, just a nostalgic feeling.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, you're a senior at Bayside. Mm-hmm. You're about ready to go off to college. What were your interests at that time?
Yeah, so my interest and my anticipation was completely to play college football as well as earning my degree. Why not do that? It's the best of both worlds. I'm playing the sport that I love, and I'm able to get the degree. So I was amped up and ready to go. I was ready to sign with Southeastern University, and that's what I did. So I was off and ready to go. So
you graduated from Bayside. You were set to go to Southeastern University, and then all of a sudden, your life took a change. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so definitely that was the turning point of my life. So I moved in early, being that all the athletes had to be on campus earlier than everybody else for training camp and everything like that. This was in 2017. So as I arrived on campus, we were working out and everything like that, doing a bunch of field workouts to get prepared for the upcoming season. And that was when we got the call that we were going to be screened for like a physical type thing. And I've gotten physicals, regular physicals my entire life. So everything's checked out normally, everything's okay, I'm ready to play the sport that I love.
So you didn't think much about it?
Yeah, I didn't think anything about it. So it was just like any other time. I go to the doctor's office, they do whatever they have to do, and I'm ready to go. Yeah. So, but this time was completely different. So,
what happened?
So we had a call for an electrocardiogram screening. So essentially they're going to be screening our hearts to make sure it was okay to play the sport that we did. And the organization that came to screen it was who we play for. And this was the first time that Southeastern has done this in their existence. So that being said, we did that. I obviously participated in it. I went through it. And 2 days later, I got a call from my athletic trainer saying I had to come to his office to talk about something. Mm-hmm. So as I did, I went to his office, and he was just like, there was an abnormality within the EKG, and we want you to follow up with a cardiologist. And I was like, and at first I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
are you sure?
Are you sure that's me?
Yeah.
Is something wrong within how you did this, or so of course I was doubtful, I was reluctant. I was like, okay, whatever. So I called my mom, of course, like I do with everything, and she's of course freaking out because it deals with the heart.
Yeah.
So she comes up and we follow up with the cardiologist, and then we find out that maybe there was a problem that needed to be fixed. So.
You mentioned a little bit about what went through your mind, but you're an athlete. Obviously you're in good condition because you play football. And then all of a sudden you're told, you've got a problem with your heart. Mm-hmm. When you realized that was a fact, what went through your mind?
So as soon as I found out from that cardiologist, Lakeland Regional, Dr. Canto, one of the best doctors I've ever dealt with, I was like reluctant. I was like, are you sure? Like, is there something wrong? Like, I've been doing this my whole life, and I've never felt anything. I'm completely asymptomatic for the heart condition that I have, Wolff-Parkinson's White. I was never short of breath. I've been out in the Florida heat with 15 pounds of pads on, running sprints up and down the field. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll follow along. So I guess you could say I was down for about a week, of course, because the sport that I loved was potentially being taken away. Yeah. But then they've offered me a corrective surgery, heart ablation to be able to correct that. So me and my family discussed about that and thought that was the best decision for me to be able to continue my athletic career.
Was it one surgery and then you were good to go, so to speak? Or
Yeah, so normally it is one surgery.
Yeah.
With the ablation procedure, usually it's an easy, 4-hour surgery and you're off and ready to go. So I had my first surgery at Lakeland Regional Hospital with an electrophysiologist, and that was kind of the first pioneering pathway study that they were able to do with my situation. But they found out that the pathway that I had was in the back of my heart, next to a main artery, and they were afraid of any complications of nicking that artery and things going downhill from there. So the first one was unsuccessful, unfortunately. Then we decided, a month went by and we're like, okay, let's try again, because what's the harm in doing this?
Right.
Let's do this for the continuation of my career and
Right.
life expectancy,
Right.
So we did a second one at actually University of Florida Shands. We got referred to the doctor that actually helped pioneer the way this procedure is done. So we went there, and the second was unsuccessful, unfortunately, as well, just due to where the pathway was. And when I woke up in recovery, the pathway was back. So it was kind of like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm supposed to be living with this for the rest of my life. Maybe I'm supposed to be on these 2 medications, antiarrhythmic medications for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? So I was doing that for about 1.5 years, and I was like, I talked to my family over. It was close to Thanksgiving that year in 2017, and we're like, all right, maybe third time's the charm. So we're going to try that. So fortunately, we did do that at University of Florida Shands with the same doctor, Dr. Miles, and it was successful because they were able to control my breathing for that split second, and they were able to attack that pathway directly. And I woke up the next day, and they performed the EKG, and it showed a normal rhythm. So from that day in 2017, I had a complete sinus rhythm, and I was able to eventually go back to the sport I love.
Fantastic. How do you feel now?
Oh, I feel great now. I feel completely blessed on the position that I'm in. This situation could have been really bad for me. I could have dropped out of college and thought, I can't play football. That's a lot of times that's people's identification. That's what they identify with.
That's true.
I am a football player. I am a basketball player. But I thought about it. I was like, how can I take this situation and impact other people's lives and prevent something tragic from happening to other families? Because a lot of times these people need help, and especially at the high school level, and that's all these kids may have. It's important to know that they can do more than that. And I feel like this was a situation in my life where I was called to do more than the field. I feel like God called me to do something bigger than that. So essentially that's what it was.
Wow. And because of what you went through personally, that pointed you in the direction of who we play for and promoting that. Let's talk a little bit about that. We all know Evan Ernst. Orville and I met Evan a few years ago at Cocoa Beach. He was doing screenings there. We've seen him, and Sean Seymour, we've talked to them. But you are now involved with who we play for.
Of course.
What do you do for them?
So who we play for is completely. I devote my time and my life to those people because they're essentially the ones that came and rescued me from a potential tragic event. So of course, for the rest of my life, I'll be indebted to them and working with them. As far as my work with them, I do help as much as I can, given my schedule and me being in college and a pre-med student and everything like that. So I help with the screenings at Southeastern and Bayside High School and some of the Brevard County high schools. Help coordinating that. I guess you could say I was the heart screening coordinator for that. I pretty much get the new volunteers and help direct them in what to do and what questions to ask, and so it can do it efficiently, essentially. So they've entrusted me with that role. And it's the most supportive group of people I've been around. I've met so many amazing people that have been able to help me get to where I am today. So without them, I don't know if I'd be standing here in front of you doing this today.
I bet it was a special feeling to go back to Bayside High School, your alma mater, to get involved with something like that. I bet, how exciting was that?
Yeah, well, I was fortunate enough to recently talk in the auditorium to the young athletes, 4 years out of me graduating. I was able to come back and talk to them and talk about my experience through that and just really open up their eyes to what they're capable of doing, because a lot of these young athletes think, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that, but what happens when life hits you in the face and suddenly that's taken away from you? You know what I mean? You have to have a backup plan for that, and essentially maybe I didn't, but maybe the situation required me to have a backup plan. So.
And now you told us off camera, you and Orville and I were talking, and you said your interest now is the medical field. You want to be a physician. Did you have that mindset? Did you want to be a doctor prior to all of this?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to be in the medical field in some capacity. I played around with maybe physical therapy, orthopedics, something like that, just being in my sports background and everything like that, help rehabilitate essentially injured athletes. But when this happened, essentially gave me a trajectory in life. It gave me a purpose to aim at, because a lot of times you need goals to be able to work to. So I decided, I've been doing pre-med my whole college undergrad year from freshman year. And I decided to really take it seriously and try to pursue that degree and eventually go off to medical school and hopefully become a pediatric cardiologist one day. So
wow,
that's where my eyes are.
You're going to do whatever you choose to do, I have no doubt. You also mentioned that you're hoping to start a chapter at your school at Southeastern?
Yeah. So
who we play for chapter?
Yeah, essentially, yes. So I feel like if I graduate and I don't impact the school after I graduate and I never come back, then I feel like my time wasn't worth it. So it's really important to me to be able to start a chapter specifically at Southeastern, being that was my school. Sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I've been working diligently with the Who We Play For people to be able to start that and to be able to essentially leave a legacy on that campus, because essentially that would mean a lot to me, for them to be able to continue doing screenings and have people that are just as passionate as I am.
Right. Right. So. And you were recently named one of the top 30 most influential people in Lakeland. Yeah. How neat is that? 21 years old, you're named one of the top 30 most influential.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you heard
Definitely. That was a very awe-inspiring moment for me. I still don't think it's real, because I opened up the pages of that magazine and I'm pictured with CEOs of companies and medical doctors that are already established and everything like that. And then here you have this 21-year-old kid that's a junior in college that is, impacting lives essentially and saving people's lives. Yeah. So, through that, I was able to, we found a female at my school that had the same heart condition as me, actually, as well. Who We Play For was able to find her, and now she's really passionate about it. And it's just creating a domino effect of awareness for sudden cardiac arrest and the prevention of it. So I'm fortunate enough for that magazine to be able to get my mission out there and to get Who We Play For out there, because it's a big deal. So.
And, there's so many young people out there that have issues that don't know they have issues. Yeah. Just like you were an incoming freshman in college, you were going to play football, you were ready to go, and then all of a sudden you were one of the fortunate ones and it was detected. But I know you, Evan, Sean, you're pushing real hard to have this mandated statewide and beyond. Yeah. How exciting is it for you when you see a county jump on board with you? It has to feel good. Yeah,
that's what we want essentially. Florida's we're doing our work in Florida, and we're hoping we can get that mandation in Florida, and for it to create that domino effect for the rest of the states in this world, in this nation at least. So to get it mandated across the United States is our ultimate goal. To get a required EKG on a standard physical for athletes is our goal, because a lot of times people don't even know what an EKG is, just like I did. Some parents don't even know what it is, so it's all about the education of and telling them the importance of that test and how it could potentially save your child's life without them even knowing, as it did mine.
Yeah, and you all do a fantastic job of getting the word out. We saw you a few months ago prior to the virus at a Health First facility, and there were people lined up down the hall, out the door to get in for the screening. Everybody was there that day. You were there, obviously, Evan and Sean, the whole crew. But it has to do your heart good when you see that many people come out to something like that you all have promoted. Yeah,
definitely. And that event, was amazing. It makes me I kind of feel like a superhero in those events like that, because you have those little kids that, look up to me and they're like, wow, that kid had a heart condition. He's so big, And then some of them find out that they might have heart conditions, essentially, and they'll be 10 years old. So I was able to talk to some people that were found from that event, actually. We did find some people from that event. And just them looking up to me and me being able to talk to them about not letting what you have define you, but rather let it be the motivation that guides you to what you want to succeed in life. So that's essentially what I did. I captured that, and I try to spread that to all the ones that might be in a similar situation that I'm in.
Yeah. Wow. Xavier, I appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your time today. It's so good to see you. Man, you look fantastic. It just looks like you're ready to go hit the field. And you're a wide receiver, so I'm saying, 80-yard touchdown reception right in the...
Oh, yeah.
How neat would that be? Going nuts.
Yeah, that would have been my reality. But since that event, I haven't went back to football, essentially. Because, I think my calling is to be able to be off the field and be able to prevent these tragedies from happening anymore. And just the rigor of being a pre-med student and looking for medical school acceptance and everything like that, it'd be kind of tough to juggle all of that.
It would be a challenge, yeah. But once again, thank you, sir, for your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Young man to my right, very special, who we play for, helped save his life, literally, and does a terrific job, not only in Brevard County, they're pushing statewide, very special organization. When you get a group of individuals together that literally save lives, I don't know that it gets any better than that. So thanks again.
Thank you.
For Xavier Hendrix and for our title sponsor, Urban Automotive, I'm Steve Wilson with the Friday Night Locker Room and Space Coast Daily TV.